So I welcome you again to the 6th edition of PW Businessworld Young Entrepreneur Summit and Awards 2020. Successful entrepreneurs are indeed born and they need to apply their traits a certain way. However, no one is born with all the traits necessary to be 100% successful on their own. Along the way, every successful entrepreneur has learned new traits, making mentorship an absolute must. And today we're going to be having great, successful entrepreneurs from various industries speaking across their journey and talking about the new reformation post-COVID-19. So may I now request Dr. Annurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, PW Businessworld and Exchange for Media Group, to join us and give the inaugural address on entrepreneurship post-COVID, rewiring an entrepreneur's brain. We welcome you, sir. Over to
Thank you, Krishna. Good morning. Thank you for that lovely introduction to Businessworld, BW Disrupt, which is our startup platform, and the Young Entrepreneur of the Year Awards. This year, the awards and the conference is special because we are doing it against the backdrop of COVID. COVID has really, so to say, made us reflect on a lot of things, reimagine, pivot, and be resilient. I just want to say that I have discovered 5 things as an entrepreneur during COVID. One is less is more. Second, focus is a superpower. Third, you need to add new skills, which will help you stay relevant. Fourth is never say never. So question every fundamental about your business. And last but not the least, for the first time, entrepreneurs have started to look at costs more than revenues. Bring down your costs, they have to be less than your revenue. All these things sound very simple, but over the last few years, entrepreneurs were more focused on valuation, on gross merchandise value, on Series A, B, C, D, rather than their own business. I think the last 6 months in some way has improved the mindset of entrepreneurs. And India is a very resilient country. All the entrepreneurs are super resilient. And I'm sure over the next few months, we'll see product companies out of India. We'll see innovation out of India. And we'll see that the bases and the structures of businesses become better. At this point, let me bring in Mr. Mukesh Sharma. Mr. Mukesh Sharma is our inaugural keynote, and Mr. Mukesh Sharma will talk about being a serial entrepreneur. He's been doing multiple things. He started with a software company, he built it to a very large scale. He's then started a school to change the school, education in line with the NEP. Of course, he started much before that. And then he's also in the digital economy doing startups like Validate. So really, we're going to ask Mr. Mukesh Sharma the art of being a serial entrepreneur. If we can bring in Mr. Mukesh Sharma and start the conversation with him. Morning, Mukesh. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Dr. Annurag. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to be part of this special session. I would love to speak with you about my journey and what I have done. I'm impressed by what you've been able to do, even during these COVID times, leveraging the technology, getting all the entrepreneurs together.
Thank you, Mukesh. You're being very kind, but the focus is Mukesh Sharma now. So Mukesh, I know that your father was at BITS Pilani and you grew up in BITS Pilani. How did the idea of setting up a software firm come up, and how did you scale that up?
I was born and brought up in Pilani, where my dad used to work as a non-teaching staff, and my education was free. That gave me an idea about, whatever that you are doing, you have to provide your employees. If you have a school, provide free education to your employees. When I was in school back then, I wanted to start something. I wanted to start a business. I wanted to be on my own. due to financial stress and other factors, there was that fire in my belly to start something early in my school days. But again, I was not allowed to look at starting anything, but to complete my degree, which I did. And when I was completing my engineering from BITS Pilani in 1996, I already had a few ideas of starting something, something in the medical space, something in leveraging internet. But getting funds was a challenge. So I worked in United States for 6.5 years. During those years, the employer that I used to work for, I had put together business plans, and they were impressed. It wasn't like my ex-employer immediately said that, Mukesh, we buy your idea. It took me almost 6 to 9 months to provide them with more meaningful data, with 5 years projection, whatnot. But then the market in US tanked, and I was told that you'll have to wait, which is something that I wasn't keen to. I wanted to start, so I couldn't make it through several ideas that I had. But then this was very simple for me. I used to work as a software testing engineer, and I approached to my CIO and I said, whatever that I'm doing for you in United States, I can do it from India, and I can do it at 1/4 of your cost. We could do multiple. So because I had already worked for them, and they trusted in the quality that I delivered to him, it worked out well. I was given the opportunity, and what worked really well is the fact that relationships that I had created while working, when somebody assigned me something, they knew that the ball would not be dropped. Even if it is at middle of the night, they knew that by such and such time we'll have things on our table. So that trust through delivery actions helped us grow our business. We are more than 1,350 people company. And then I started to think, what is the purpose in life? And that I started almost 7 years back. So my company started in 2003. I took a back seat in 2013, saying that I have achieved what I wanted to, and I started just playing golf, chilling out, spending time more with family and friends. But somebody bumped into me in the golf course and said, Mukesh, you've got, God has given you a lot, and you can make a difference. So I looked at, what is it that I can do? And I came across this international board schools wherein the fees is pretty high. I was trying to, so I spent some fine. Teachers are paid very rewarding salary. That is great. But then how much is the expense? What is the purpose of education? If you start a trust and you are running a school, it is for people, for education purpose. Make it elite, charge a little more, but then how more is enough? So I started Prometheus School with a dream of creating entrepreneurs in the school, which was my first thing that I was trying to do back when I was in Pilani. With the digital age that we are living in, it is not difficult to create entrepreneurs while they are in school. I see significant potential in every child that is studying at Prometheus, of creating new ventures while they are at school, and we are providing them with that kind of a platform. When I started Prometheus, I said, why should we charge 100? Can we do it with 50? And yet have the teachers from those schools that are charging such a high salary pay them 30% more. We were able to do that. It was successful. If I do basic math, I think we'll be fine. The purpose of creating a school is not to just make money, but to create a legacy, and be able to create Olympians. If you look at our country, we've had Olympians, but how many of those are from middle to upper middle class families? HNIs. There are not many examples because they lack that fire in their belly. they are driven by what they already have. So I started working on this concept. So today at Prometheus School, we've got India's number one in, let's say, 16 age group 16 category, playing every day for 8 hours. So my goal is to be able to create that infrastructure, have Prometheans represent India in Olympics. I also started something called ValidateMe.online, and that is a platform which is solving a problem. So whatever that I have done in all these years is with the basic purpose of changing the status quo, changing the way things are. Why should individuals face such a challenge when they are transacting over a property? One property changes multiple hands, and the papers are fake. There are fake papers that are exchanged about the employment. When somebody just takes your resume, copies the projects, and says that I used to work for this company, there is a lot of time that one ends up losing, and time is money. So with that in mind, we started ValidateMe.online, which is a blockchain based platform where the documents cannot be altered. It takes care of the privacy of every document. So if you are issued a document by your past employer directly on ValidateMe.online, nobody can change it. Your prospective employer, or anybody for that matter, cannot request information from your past employer without your approval. In today's world, you can go and call any company and say that, hey, such and such person used to work for you. We are considering hiring him. Would you tell us how that individual was? In all probability, you will be provided with information without validating it with the person whose information the individual is sharing. So with ValidateMe.online platform that we've built, all these challenges are going to be addressed. There are companies that require, even after giving an offer, they do background verification through a third party. The third party verification companies has people who are calling up people to confirm whether the individual worked. We are saying that you don't need to have people in between. We've automated that process. It is going to be like within a couple minutes instead of 3 to 4 weeks time that it takes. So what I try to do is look at problems, look at the areas that can be improved, look at where we can create disruption. With technology, it is very much possible. As you know, Prometheus School started last year in September 2019, and COVID hitting in March was a big disaster. That is how I was approached by people that now we'll have to shut down schools. I said, no, we will not have to shut down school. We are just going to close the building. Learning shall continue. And how at QA Infotech, the company that I initially started, we work with Harvard University, we work with Oxford University Press, Kaplan University, Pearson Education, most of the education technology companies and publishers. So we have idea of what needs to be done in order for us to switch from traditional classrooms to online sessions. We immediately switched. In fact, there is another interesting product that we were able to launch within just a month of switching to online classrooms. We created an OTT platform. OTT is just like Netflix, Amazon Prime. So we said all the sessions that we are doing through online virtual sessions, Microsoft Teams or Zoom or any other tool for that matter, they should be recorded, and the recorded version should be put on the OTT so that the child who's missed the class or the child who wants to go back to the class and ask questions to the teacher, they are provided with that ability. So the child can just go into the video through the OTT platform and ask question directly on the video by going on that particular timeline, saying that, hey miss, you said this, but I believe blah 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 blah, and teacher would see that comment and would be able to respond. See, with the classrooms going digital, the challenge that children are having too much of screen time, but also not having the ability to ask questions while they are in the classroom. Imagine 20 plus children asking questions. Would the teacher be able to complete, what the teacher had planned for the class? So there are essential agreements in place, but with this kind of a tool, we were able to get an edge over other schools. So I look at the difficult situations as an opportunity to do something in a different way and to do something better.
Fantastic, Mukesh. You've taken us through how your thought process, how these ventures came about. I want to ask you, what are your top 3 learnings of being an entrepreneur? And is there a playbook to being a serial entrepreneur?
Thanks, Anurag. So, top 3 learnings, you have to believe in yourself. There are people, who would come and tell you that, oh, what are you doing? This is not going to work. You're going to have, if you believe in yourself, you have to go all out. You have to do your homework. You believe in whatever that you are thinking is because of whatever that you've already done, and your belief. To become a serial entrepreneur, I think you need to have that drive in you, which basically is again related to your ability to identify problem areas. Instead of sitting on the other side of the table and complaining about the system, the education system, the way the business is happening in India, the way things are not working, I consider myself, to go on the other side and start working towards solving that problem. Why can't we do it in India? Why can't we create products and be known as, the country that has created platforms and products? I don't want us to be followers. When I started ValidateMe.online, it wasn't there anywhere. Nobody was using it, so that's essentially what I believe in.
Okay, and Mukesh, the last 6 months have been tough for all of us. We've seen the loss of lives, the loss of livelihoods. So what are the new lessons that life has taught you as an entrepreneur in the last 6 months, which will possibly hold you in good stead throughout your life?
It's a very interesting question, and I heard you when you were initially talking about that keep the cost low. I will say that both at QA Infotech, Prometheus School, and ValidateMe.online, in all the 3 companies, we did our annual appraisal. An annual appraisal was on an average 18% cost increase to the company. Why? Because people are the key for services organization. Yes, there are challenges. Customers are asking for discounts. The customers are asking for COVID kind of a discount because they are not sure how things are going to be. We didn't do it in the month of April, May, June, July, but as of August 1st, we revised the compensation, because I think COVID-19 has made us alert, but it has also allowed us to do what we were doing. The overheads that we used to have of working in a building were down, right? So there are positives and negatives, that I can look at. But as an organization, I said that the challenging times are not forever. These are the challenging times, and this is the test that we have to take. If it remains forever, then we'll have to rethink our strategy. But I wanted to make sure that I don't have that pain of attrition because somebody's salary was not increased. Individuals in this time would look for, even though they have a stable job, would look for even 10% increment and leave, right? For them, what is important, we have to understand that. So that was something that we did. We've tried to empathize with our folks and took actions that are win-win for both employer and employee.
Thank you, Mukesh. My second last question to you: what are your 3 predictions for the future in terms of work, in terms of life, in terms of what areas of business to invest in?
Well, I think there is there's a lot that needs to be done in artificial intelligence. I believe that artificial intelligence would change the way things are, and it will hit employers before it hit employees, right? So, especially in technology companies, even in schools. I mean, in schools when you have physical classrooms, the coordinator or the principal takes around, sees how the feedback is. With the online classrooms, I can create certain parameters using artificial intelligence and capture the analytics and do a review of how things are happening. I can get a 360-degree view. So I think artificial intelligence is going to be big. Use of blockchain technology in almost every vertical, be it hospitals. You had certain one had certain disease, certain conditions, medical conditions. 10 years back, the data is they are, even if the hospital says we've scanned it, we have it in our records, there is no single platform wherein one could log in and say that this is my medical history, right? And analytics is going to play important role. So here also, even though the data is on blockchain, artificial intelligence can help predict things that may happen in the future, right? Depending on the parameters that it has captured. So those are my that's the way that I look at. Employees would have to keep upskilling. Upskilling is important. One cannot say that this is what I'm good at and this is what I'll continue to do. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to change with time. And if you can be ahead of the waves, then you are going to be like rock solid, well placed in the whole ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Mukesh. My last question to you. Who are people Mukesh looks up to? What has Mukesh learned from? What are the books, people, entrepreneurs that Mukesh Sharma, so to say, learns from or gets inspired from?
So I get, I always used to look up to Steve Jobs. I read a lot about him, and I felt that he was able to do what he believed in. Even when when his team members would say, no, we cannot do this by this date, he would sit down himself. He would put in the efforts and he would make things happen, right? So Steve Jobs is one of the individuals that I always used to look up to and get inspired, motivated. I have also been inspired. Had I not been an entrepreneur, I would have been serving Indian Army. I am a big fan of Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, and Subhash Chandra Bose. So these are the people that I look up to, who were the ones, because of whom we are enjoying the freedom that we have today, right? So they gave their lives for the freedom of the country. I am inspired by folks like Saurabh, who's world champion, world #1 in his age category in rifle shooting. I'm inspired by him because he's committed, he's sincere, even though he has limited resources, but he's giving 200%. I would like to be able to inspire people, inspire children, and show them the direction so that they become the role models for others, right? Be able to bring the change.
Thank you so much, Mukesh. It's been a pleasure talking to you. We wish you luck in your endeavors. I'm sure the new ventures that you started will be equally successful as your first venture. So we wish you luck, and we have no doubt that you will be a game changer. You'll build a legacy that you talk of. And we look forward to having another conversation with you soon. But the takeaway for our viewers are three. One is be compassionate to your colleagues, be employee-centric. Second is, even with low resources, you can think of new ideas. You can build your own business model. And third is, technology in areas like artificial intelligence have become integral part of every business. So you must implement them in the core of your business to be able to be more competitive. So thank you, Mukesh Sharma, for talking to us. We wish you luck And we look forward to another conversation with you soon. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.